What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and getting quite a few requests on trying to look at ticker symbol SHLL or Hyliion technology. Basically, this is a company. Wouldn't call it similar to NKLA because they looks like the perspective and the overall investment is a little bit slightly different, skewed, and looks like a potential more reasonable expectations being met. So go ahead and just check out the website. They have a really interesting part on the investor tab. I listened to their initial conference call, kind of summarizing up things. We can kind of go through this very quick PowerPoint introduction thing. A couple key points that really came up to me is that basically no additional capital needing for the company for commercialization and production. So that means that they're saying they don't have to go to the market to dilute shares or having to do this at various type of things on potentially trying to raise capital on offering a couple thousands of shares or hundred thousands of shares or millions of shares to pay for their stuff. So they're really competing against Tesla, and of course they're going to be competing against Nikola on basically really just innovating on the trucking section and really the longer haul of stuff. So they currently have one model that they're currently using and so forth. So they're using the hybrid electric. So basically this is what is still being in trucks as of right now. There's again, nice little highlight of 2 million plus miles driven to date. And this is basically just a combination add-on solution on the current diesel trucks, basically adding that a little bit of hybrid electric to kind of cut some fuel costs down and on some of those longer hauls when they're going in and around about things. Their potential newer solution and their overall platform that they're really building on is basically using the full sense of battery electric. So again, still using that hybrid kind of mode, but really again, even looking for partnering with the hydrogen stuff, which again, Nikola has really pushed into the market here. Great little presentation here. I kind of like this. What the really are somewhat. I have no idea about the trucking industry, but my common sense says that what's available today. You see here, basically, this is what the diesel fuel cost, and I like they don't make up in numbers. They don't know the numbers, so it's just kind of a little blank. They didn't just put in a number there. I can honestly appreciate that. It's the small things that I notice. Again, this is the hybrid electric model. You can kind of see where the green comes in, where it kind of helps power those back ones, and then you of course have the future solution, which is the RX version, looking at the overall savings of cost of ownership, basically relative same cost, but again, it's going to be, these numbers are different because these are just projected. None of these are basically on mass market and being able to show so. A couple other things that I wanted to look at down here before we start looking at the stock. This is again the overall fantastic opportunity in the sense of really just using this technology to the best, and makes it somewhat simple. Anyone could explain this to someone. You could explain this to a seventh grader or even a fifth grader on what the solution is, basically using the current diesel fuel savings, making it really simple. Basically total fuel cost about $14,000 a year for a fleet. The overall cost is about $30,000, so it basically pays off in about 2 years. So average truck, I believe they said 7 to 10 years runs or something like that, and just seeing that be able to pay off within 2 of those years is pretty phenomenal. And they gave a little scenario breakdown here, and basically, yeah, over 3,000 diesel-free hydrogen APU hours driven, basically raising the MPG or miles per gallon, improvement of 14%. So from 17, so 7.29 to 4.3 seems pretty phenomenal, honestly. And again, not saying $30,000 is a lot, but to improve on a little bit of fuel costs, again, fuel has just been somewhat steady, but the overall cost could go up substantially. And then this is the fuel truck of tomorrow. So you got the battery pack, the generator motor in the front, really propelling this forth and using that hydrogen part here, showing and partnering with people, the different fleets within Texas-based fueling stations. And again, since the overall development of these really potential compressed gas storage tanks are not really, I guess, well built out yet, as everyone kind of thought, on the sense of like Tesla not having the battery system or their charging station built out. But that just takes time, and I think some people have to be a little more optimistic on it. Let's go ahead and just look at the financials here. Not really too big on this. Again, that sounds terrible, but again, these numbers will look great. It's really want to see once the first publicly traded earnings comes out, and we can kind of start seeing on what the potential could be, because this is a really nice slideshow presentation. But let's go ahead and jump into the chart. Of course, the SHLL is the ticker symbol, and this is what you basically came here for, is for the technical analysis. The swing high to swing low, we have seen a monstrous run ever since this has been announced. This came out, I think, the 19th, of June, and then we had a huge run up, kind of came out, hit a top around 34, came back down, kind of held the 21.34, but again, the 50 to 55 EMAs really kind of came in for some support, built a nice base here, really compressed, and then boom, got another leg higher, looking for some potential targets around 62.08 to kind of see how this plays out. Potentially looking for some downside support initially around 38.86. I know I'm giving very wide potential support and resistance bands due to the fact of, again, this thing is going to be catching, it has caught FOMO already, and you see that this overall pattern lists kind of a cup here, and basically now kind of making a handle and then breaking out again. We can see this easily come back down to potentially trade between that 39 to 34, build that kind of that cup again, and potentially get kicked higher. Because again, the overall filings are saying that this deal could be wrapped up by the end of September. So that's not too far off, since this is only the 3rd of September that we could see some potential this really going forth fairly fast. Again, this is not a company that's trying to make wave runners and off-road vehicles. That they're literally just focusing on selling their pre-existing base of the battery pack the battery pack hybrid mode, and then also starting to build out and partner with the hydrogen slash electric battery packs to help with the overall trucking system. This is really just a direct play on the overall trucking and FedEx, or the moving of transportations of goods within those big Class 8 semi 18-wheeler trucks that everyone kind of knows and loves. That being said, that really strong support potentially could coming in around that previous level on 28.28. But we did see it come down here multiple times, or this really kind of bounce off here around the 50 and 55. So that 28 to 25 would be a pretty interesting zone to buy if it does come down to those levels. Again, this stock has gone FOMO. It can go, I won't say it can go substantially higher if it wants, but this has been multiple gaps up. We're seeing a lot of volume coming in, top band of the RSI, and same with the volume zone oscillator printing very high levels. Looking here on the weekly side, this has just been, of course, it was a basically, what do they call it, SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company, was basically nothing, and then of course they found Hyliion, and then basically just took off from there, looking for, again, initial targets looking around 62. Again, this thing could run, like, so if give you a sense of what NKLA did when they got kind of played out. Doesn't this look kind of like the same? The big thing that I always look for with these kind of trades is really seeing that large green candle, and then seeing that overall, not a kick out, but looking at this levels here on kind of giving some perspective. So we hit that 423.6 percentile move. Again, that's that Fibonacci retracement at 82. Doesn't mean that it's going to be coming back to that or going through that, but this one is basically kind of that limits around $89. So I'm not going to be calling a top at 89.42, but that's going to be a very high elevation, comparing it to somewhat NKLA on the technical side. Not adding any fundamentals to it. If I had to choose which one I wanted to buy, I would probably choose this one in the long haul, just because it sounds like they got their stuff together more, rather than just having 3D rendered stuff. That being said, I don't want to diss NKLA. I know they're trying to do things, but let's be honest here. We're in the business to invest and make money, and that's if I had to choose, I had to choose this. But the one I would choose without a doubt is Tesla. So I think Tesla is just it's got the really the upper hand on a lot of this technology. That being said, again, key takeaways, potentially this could run substantially more. So again, looking for price targets above around 62, even up to all the way to 90. This can easily blow past it to potentially to even 100, like we saw with that NKLA FOMO come in. Because again, once this gets more closer to becoming public knowledge, or is it still public knowledge, but like once you start getting more people on the boat, aka the FOMO train, basically we call it the FOMO rocket, honestly, at this point, of just really drafting higher. But just to be very careful, I never want to call it top or bottom, but this thing could easily run with, again, that FOMO, potentially looking to kind of see those early investors potentially go through and get some weak hands out and potentially buy at some lower prices. And again, definitely be one of these stocks that we're watching without a doubt. Again, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining the channel, we got a Patreon page and as well as a YouTube join membership tab. Check those out. Free Discord link down below. A lot of fun stuff going on there. We talk a lot about stocks, charts, and other various things going on in the world. Greatly would love to see you there. Again, Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.